Good morning. Testing, testing. It is 7:42 a.m. on Friday, the 6th of January, 2023. And you're tuning in again for another daily, what would the word be? Daily, I guess, episode. I don't know. Daily installment. That's the one I was thinking of. Daily installment of Mincho, or Mincho's audio journal. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I'm probably just going to call it Mincho. I still haven't got a name for it yet, but if you listen to this, wherever you're listening to it, you have already got the name in your head and in your hands on whatever device you're choosing to listen to it. Give me 2 seconds to clear my throat. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Hello, how's everyone doing? Take a sip of my coffee. What's happened since yesterday? Nothing really. After my podcast yesterday, I made some adjustments in my attitude about some things that are going on in my life to do with work. Try to be the bigger person, remembering that by meditating on my mortality, I've decided to let things slide. Who do I want to be remembered as? If I died in a week from now, do I want to be remembered as the guy who kept things going and allowed petty things to bother him? Or do I want to be remembered as the guy who saw above it all and moved on? And quite frankly, the things that are happening don't bother me that much. They just take up a lot of my thought process because I'm confused as to why they're happening and why these things are, certain things are being said about me. And I get it. Most people who know me know that I'm I can be pretty confronting. I like to just say shit as it is. I don't like to beat around the bush. I don't like leaving things unsaid. If I'm confused or I think someone said something stupid or whatever, I tend to just call it out. I got my mum to thank for that. When I was raised, mum used to say all the time, I swear I was put on earth to tell people they're morons. I think there's something funny about that because obviously no one was put here on earth. But if anyone was, who's to say it's not that role, Who's to say that there isn't someone here on earth just to tell people that what they're doing and how they're living is fucking silly? And then I guess it comes back to the rat race conversation. And then even a couple of days ago when I was talking about intergenerational issues, like it all comes full circle. Obviously you can see that these are my own thoughts and that's what makes this journal so fun. I'm sorry if breathing into this mic is not good. I don't like this to be. I like this to be as raw as possible. So, if me breathing loudly and everything is bothersome, I guess just fucking let me know in the comments and I'll try and figure it out. But I don't want to do that, Taze on day chocolate rain thing where I just fucking take a breath away from the microphone. And then obviously my allergies play up in the morning. 2 cats in the house and asthma, so it doesn't help. Anyway, I wanted to read this thing I wrote at the start of 2021, I believe, maybe the start of 2022. I just moved into a dual site role. It was the end of 2021, start of 2022 actually. Yeah, I remember I was on a train and I was getting really frustrated with the adjustment of walking in and leading 2 existing teams. I guess because it's really hard to assimilate with people and also be their boss when you're like the same age, or marginally older. Like I'm only 27 and the people I'm mostly managing are between 18 and 24, 25, even as I've managed people that are a little older than me in their 30s and 40s. And so there's a challenge there, trying to assimilate and Anyway, but without going into that, I just wanted to read this thing I wrote. I haven't edited it. I haven't even read it fully before I read it out here. I just feel like I don't have really anything else to talk about today, so I'm just going to read out this thing. I wrote all this, I've called it On Authenticity. It's part of my notes, thoughts and reflections, and it was just whenever I was going through something, or I had a thought, or I had something that I wanted to look back on, much like this podcast or this journal is going to be. I just wanted something to, remember things and to go back to and reference and also like look back on in the future when I've got a bit more perspective and see if I still believe that. So I'm going to read this in a moment, word for word, and then I guess we'll have a discussion about it. And by we'll have a discussion, I mean I will talk and tell you my thoughts on what I think after reading my prior thoughts, if that makes any sense. Okay, on authenticity. Be who you are. Let that sink in. Be who you are. It's a hard statement to break down on paper. The message itself, it's simple. Be who you are. Someone says it to you and you instantly think, well, obviously. But is it obvious? Let me guide this thought. You are you. That much is true. But when someone tells you to be who you are, who is that? What does that look like? The person you are to you and the person you are to me are allowed to be different people. Sometimes we create ourselves privately to introduce ourselves publicly. That private version of yourself is a delicate being, vulnerable and full of curiosity. When you read that, did you think about the differences between the you know and the you I know? There's no shame in creating a public face. We do a lot of things, even unintentionally or unconsciously, to cope with and process all of the information that the world throws at us. What if I presented you with the idea that who you are is not necessarily a being, but a belief, an ideology? At least that's where it starts. Who you are is a presentation of your morals and ethics, a reflection of what's inside. When the doors close to the outside world and there's nobody left but you and your mind, what do you value? What do you want your life to look like? What adversity do you want to overcome? What does your idea of the world look like? The time comes when you must leave that room. That's a daunting thought. You might have to create a face to show the world, a mask that allows you to control how the world interacts with you, lets you be who you think the world wants you to be, at the very least, who you have decided you want the world to see you as. Before I continue, I want you to understand that there is no shame in portraying yourself as someone else. Let me rephrase that. There's no shame in inflating or deflating who you are to make any or all external situations easier to navigate. Think intelligent women who play dumb to deal with ignorance, or dumb men who play smart to seem superior. They're coping mechanisms, and they're completely natural and very common. Hell, I don't even come out here and show my true self. I'm sure there'd be nothing but support at an individual level, but groupthink is unpredictable. In today's age, the challenge is the collective. There are too many, or infinite, moving parts. Everyone has been raised to believe that their contribution is special. Their words matter, and their opinions are unique and valued. In many cases, this isn't true. That isn't to say that individuals aren't smart and capable. Everyone can achieve greatness if they apply themselves to whatever they want to be great at. But to say that everyone's opinion is unique or their contribution is special is a farce. I guess there I want to edit that to everything, but we'll keep going. How much of what you think and speak is coming from you? Really consider that. How did you form the opinion you have? Whose opinion did you agree with to create your stance on any given topic? Your parents, a teacher, a mentor, a peer? The face you put on to interact with the world is a reflection of these thoughts and opinions. That's why it's so important to understand how we form these thoughts. There's no danger in creating a face to cope with the world. The danger comes from never realizing you put on a face in the first place. When you take that face home and you forget to take it off, forget to be with yourself and your true thoughts, that's where the damage begins. Dang, dude. Hell yeah, I wrote that shit fucking a year ago. I'm pretty stoked at that. I'm reading that back to you guys on a podcast. Dang, I haven't read that in a long time. Anyway, there's a few things in there, obviously, I would edit now with a bit of perspective. One of which I was about to say... but to say that everyone's opinion is unique or their contribution is special is a farce. Now, I believe that everybody is individual. So I don't want to sit here and say that that nobody, there's some people out there that aren't going to contribute anything special to anything ever, right? This is specifically because I also mentioned that everyone can achieve greatness if they apply themselves to whatever they want to be great at. And I think that's a very important point. Everybody has a special place and a special place in society. They can do something, they can do anything they want, right? But let's take leadership, for example. I'm going to use that because I know it a little, I know it. I work in it professionally. Not everybody can achieve greatness in leadership. Not everybody can achieve greatness in, the building industry. Not everybody can achieve greatness as musicians. And that's because it's not for everybody. Maybe someone wants to be a musician, but that's because their father was a musician, or their mother was, or their uncle, or whatever. Someone else was a musician, and they just want to be like them. But they have a natural inclination for algebra, and they would be a much better algebra teacher or professor. Instead, they decide to sit there and slave away learning the guitar, only to play shitty gigs at random fucking dive bars that, the only people attending are either there because they're always there, or because they have a mate who's like, hey, let's check out this guy. And then they sort of, I don't know, dwindle their life away, drink it away, and then because they're not fulfilling any sort of, I guess they're not finding fulfillment in the things that they're doing. Can you say that their contributions are special? Or that their opinion is unique? There's another one. Not everyone's opinion is unique. The example I like to use here is how many people buy Nike and how many people actually like Nike product versus how many people buy Nike because they are going to be seen as someone who can afford and is cool because they wear Nike product. That's not to say that Nike product's not cool. They make some cool shit. They do really well. I mean, there's a reason they're fucking successful, right? But how many people do you know only buy it because their mates buy it, or because they want to get laid when they go out and they know if they wear the newest Nike sweaters or the newest Nike shoes that they're going to be looked at differently as someone of, that's in the culture or whatever. I guess it comes back the other day. I think I mentioned on this, do you really like the shit you say you like? Or are you just trying to make other people happy? And that's why this was written, is because I see too many people, and people I care about as well, doing shit to please everybody. And you're not going to please everybody. That's the farce. Not everybody is going to like you, and you've got to be comfortable with that. You got to be comfortable with the discomfort that comes with that, the territory of, knowing that someone somewhere is just going to not like you because your eyebrows are ugly, because you've got pimples on your chin, because your voice is deep, or because you are short, or because you are tall, or because of your sexual orientation, or because of the color of your skin. There's just hatred in this world that people have, and even those thoughts are not unique. Even those thoughts have been taught to them by somebody or influenced by something, whether it is, let's say a kid in school got dacked and he got really embarrassed, and a person of color laughed at him, and then from then on he just hated people of that color. Or someone had a pimple on their chin, and then they got embarrassed because someone pointed it out in the middle of a conversation. Let's say they were just talking about, school and bike rides, and then someone was like, oh, and the pimple on their chin, and all of a sudden that self-conscious is turned into a vitriolic cycle of thought, and now they just hate anyone who's got pimples on their chin because they couldn't understand why they were hated or referenced as a point of conversation. Anyway, it's an interesting thought. I think that more people should be who they are and not who they want the world to see them as, or who they think the world wants them to be seen as, or anything else, Just be you. What's that Dr. Seuss saying? I threw a little Dr. Seuss quote in here. You are you, that is true. That much is true. Or was it Winnie the Pooh, the dude who wrote that? What was his name? I'll just quickly Google it while we've got this thing going. It's still, you are you, that much is true. And what do they say? Oh, today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. That was a Dr. Seuss thing for happy birthday. I think it's interesting because he's not wrong. He isn't wrong. You are you, and you can't be anyone else. So why are you trying to be someone else? Why are you so afraid of showing yourself to the world? Allow yourself to be vulnerable. That's what this is. That's what I'm doing here. Individually, I know anyone who listens to this and I speak to will probably support it. My friends, my family, random people. But collectively, someone could decide that something's going on, and if someone else gels with that, they're going to decide that I'm the Antichrist, and we just roll with those punches when we get to them. But I'm not afraid of being disliked, and I'm not afraid of being vulnerable. And there's something potent in that. There's something I think that scares the shit out of people when they meet someone like that. That comes back full circle to the beginning of this, where I said I was going through some shit at work. I think that's why I'm going through some shit at work, is because I am not afraid of being myself. I'm not afraid of saying what I think and acting how I am, or acting how I act, And I'm always looking to reflect and be better. I'm always looking to adjust that for the better. But I won't be told by someone that I can't be a certain way because they don't like it. It has to be justifiable. It has to make sense. For me to change, it has to be something that's impacting a larger community of people. Of course, if I'm saying fucking racist or homophobic things, absolutely pull me up on that. But I don't do that. I have a moral code. So to have an opinion, like everybody, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them, but no one wants them to be shoved in their face or whatever. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. Look, do with this information today what you will. It is Friday the 6th of January, 2023. I'm signing off at 8:01 a.m. See you.